Hey everyone, Tony D with another hot take. This one has been coming for a long time. Will Hillary Clinton enter the race? It's looking more and more likely. The guy who's been calling it since 2017, his name is H.A. Goodman, and you should check out his videos. He's been crowing about this for literally years. He says it's a given. He says it was a given the moment she lost. Now, my understanding is this. The DNC was broke mostly after Obama's run. Obama just spent a ton of money, got reelected, but somehow that didn't translate into more donors. I'm not sure why. I thought it would. Then in 2016, the Clinton Foundation, and the Clintons basically, essentially went to the DNC, who were broke or close to being broke, and said, we'll bail you out, but we're going to run the show now. That's my understanding. So all this time, the Clintons have been running the DNC, in the background. They're not going to be open about it. They don't want to they're very smart about their branding. They're trying to brand things a certain way. So what is the evidence that Hillary's going to run? Well, first, there's the absolute S show that is the Democratic Party right now. You saw this long line of candidates bashing each other left and right. None of them seem to be really good. It seems the only reason we have Joe Biden as the likely candidate for the Dems is because Biden is the least horrible of the group. And he's still pretty horrible. I mean, he just doesn't even look like he's going to make it through the election. And they would prefer him infinitely over Bernie Sanders. Now, I know there's a lot of Bernie bros out there that are like, oh, no, Bernie's a great guy, blah, blah, blah. No, he's not a great guy. He is a terrible, terrible candidate. Not because he's a bad person. Well, I guess he kind of is in his own way. But because he is just absolutely smitten by these communist and socialist policies that absolutely do not work. They end up killing people. I know I'm being hyperbolic, but it's true. It's true, okay? He is not a Democrat. He is clearly a socialist. Not a democratic socialist, but a socialist. He has always been. He's pretty much a communist, really. I mean, I think really when in his private thoughts, he's like, oh yeah, communism. Because he believes that it can work. And in theory, it can if everybody does exactly what the Communist Party wants. The theory is everybody's equal in the communist world. The state runs everything. It's all split equally and everybody has a great time. But that's not how humans act. Like if you did that in a simulator and there were a bunch of bots, it would work great. You could split up all the money and resources evenly, and everybody would have all your little robots would run around and have a great time, and they would all equally rise up. That doesn't happen with humans. Humans are weird. You got some people who just like to compete just because they're competitive. You got people who don't like to compete. They don't have any ambition, and they're lazy. So if you've ever been in a communal situation, and a lot of us who have been in the arts always find ourselves in this group of people, like we're doing a group project in school, trying to get together a show or a band or a movie or a play or whatever, you know the absolute horror of making everybody equal. It just doesn't work, because what ends up happening is some people don't do work. Some people do extra work. The people who do extra work resent the people who do less work. Some people want more credit. Some people have expectations they don't verbalize and then later suddenly explode when it doesn't meet their expectations. I mean, you could just go on and on and on. However, when you have, for instance, a director or someone who's in charge, then things change. Everybody knows their roles. That doesn't mean people don't complain and there's not problems. It just means there isn't a bunch of other problems. The problems are limited to very specific things, as opposed to, with a communal aspect, the problems are limitless. And generally the problems of the communal thing destroy the project, whereas with somebody in charge and a hierarchy in place, then generally things move forward. And if you need to get rid of somebody, you can get rid of them, you can fire them, you can say, look, this isn't working out, whatever. And you can replace them, and it works. Part of the problem with communism, you can't replace anybody. You're supposed to give everybody a house, everybody a job, everybody money, everybody free healthcare, everybody a college. Even the most horrible, horrible people, they have to get that. And, we have a situation in New York right now where de Blasio has essentially decriminalized a lot of crime, a lot of petty crime in the city. And there's a guy who just keeps committing crimes. He just keeps committing them because he knows he can get away, and he's laughing. He's laughing. And that's the kind of guy who would totally take advantage of a communist system. He would just do nothing all day because, hey, the communists got to give me a house, right? And that's when it all turns ugly and the communists have to start shooting people or forcing people or beating them up or whatever. The people who back guys like Bernie Sanders don't understand how socialism works. They have this utopian vision in their head. They insist that places like Sweden and Norway, they're totally socialist and they work out great. They don't understand that they are just really capitalistic countries with pretty nice welfare systems. They have a uniform population. They don't have to deal with tremendous amount of culture clash, although thanks to the European Union, a few of those countries do. Centralization is always bad, and socialism and communism are the height of centralization. To stand up and complain about the government and then say the solution is, well, give the government more power and we'll solve this problem. That's not the solution. The solution would be more freedom. The solution would be better technology. The solution would be better education, and things like that. So anyhow, Bernie cannot run. I don't think whatever happens, unless the coronavirus wipes out most of the Democrats, I don't think you'll see Bernie as your candidate. He's losing anyway. He was going to lose anyway, so he's done. That leaves Biden. Biden is a total S show. He cannot stop making gaffes. I've been seeing montage after montage of Biden's gaffes. They're hilarious, but scary at the same time that this guy could be president. And he was prone to gaffes. I'm prone to gaffes. A lot of people are. But you can see that his current gaffes, his current mistakes, they're bad. They're like, he doesn't realize them. It's one thing to misspeak and immediately correct yourself. It's another thing to misspeak and correct yourself at the end of the sentence or then later realize, oh, that was stupid. Biden is way past that. He is like, he is forgetting things. He forgot, we hold these truths self-evident that all men are created equal. Like he forgot the all men are created equal part. Or, maybe he hesitated and said, ooh, I can't say men. And then he, gummed up the works in his brain. But I think it was probably he forgot it. And that's a basic thing you don't forget if you're in politics. I mean, if a plumber forgot that, you could say, well, he's a plumber. He's not a politician. He doesn't read the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence every day. You could forgive him for forgetting it. Biden was the VP. You can't forget part of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. These guys work in Washington. That's the whole point. So Biden's starting to fall apart. That's 99% of the reason I think Hillary's going to run. Now, what form does that take place? I think I agree with people on the internet, and I said this before. She'll be the VP pick. So it's a perfect situation for her. She won't have to debate Trump. Unless Biden drops out early and then she somehow moves up. I don't know that they can do that, though. If she's picked as the VP, I think she has to stay VP until they win. Otherwise, she's just running for VP and she'll only be on the ballot as the VP. Which, if Biden dies and before the election, before the voting, it is possible, and this has happened before, it is possible that Donald Trump could be president and Hillary Clinton would be vice president. I mean, it's possible. It's not likely, but it's possible. That would be utterly insane. And by the way, you can vote for President Trump and the VP for the Democrats if you want. If you want to split your vote. If enough people did that, you could have that situation. That would be utterly insane for a whole lot of reasons. I mean, the Clintons are connected to a lot of bodies, but you'd basically be having someone in the administration undermining you at every turn. And that's exactly what Hillary would do. My God, it would be an absolute nightmare. If you think the press hobbled Trump during his first 4 years, imagine what it would do to him to actually have Hillary as the VP, waiting in the wings just to kneecap him every time he did something. Utter nightmare. Very unlikely though. However, I think it is now likely that Biden could pick Hillary as the VP. Some evidence of that includes rebranding of Bill Clinton. It came out recently with this article about Monica Lewinsky and how she was a stress reliever for him. Why now? Why are they coming out with that now? It's because they're setting up down the road. Why is Hillary Clinton on tour again? Why is this documentary coming out? This glowing documentary about how wonderful Hillary Clinton is. It's because they're setting her up to be the savior of the Democratic Party. And it'll go something like this. Biden will run. She'll be the VP. And once they're elected, Biden will step down. She doesn't have to debate Trump. People won't have to worry about Biden going bananas because he's not going to be president that long. And Hillary gets her base all riled up. And they jettison all this bad blood from the primary. It's all gone because it was going to be Hillary the whole time, which is a little bit suspicious. Now, will it work? No, absolutely not. First off, if you think that the Trump supporters were energized before, they are going to be 1,000 times more energized to vote for Trump if Hillary's in the mix. People will come out of the woodwork to vote. It will be remember how people came out of the woodwork to vote for Obama and they'd never voted before and now suddenly they had to run and register because I definitely have to vote for the first black president. It's going to be like that. Only it's going to be on the other side. It's going to be Republicans doing that. You're going to be you're going to be wheeling old people out of the old folks' home just to vote for Trump. Assuming coronavirus doesn't cull the herd too much. Now, the Bernie bros are not going to like this. Oh no, they're not going to like this because the Bernie bros are socialist, Marxist, communist, whatever you want to call them. A lot of them are, and the ones that aren't they're too far left. They hate Joe Biden. They will be actively working against the campaign. I think they're going to do that anyway. Once Bernie is not nominated at the DNC, they're going to cry foul. They're going to say he was cheated again. He was certainly cheated before. I think there was probably some cheating involved currently, although I haven't seen any real evidence of it. I can imagine there's some. So you're going to have probably 20 to 25% of the party actively working against it. Some of them will vote for Trump out of spite, but a lot of them will just, do things to hurt the Democrats. They will do stuff online. They will, turn whatever organizations they work for or have. They'll protest. They will not protest Trump anymore. They will go after Biden and especially Hillary. Oh, they'll go after her hard. And, again, Trump has no shortage of footage of Biden and Hillary at this point. Trump's just going to be laughing. So he's going to win. He's going to win by a wider margin. And I think you're going to see a lot of very angry Bernie supporters coming out and protesting this. They're definitely going to burn, not burn, but they're definitely going to go bananas in Milwaukee. I mean, that's going to be the first step. And they're definitely not going to come out and vote. I mean, you're not going to get these people to vote. They don't hate Trump that much. At this point, there's no daylight between an administration like that, like Biden, Hillary, and a Trump administration. You want to talk about corruption? My God, Biden's already way corrupt up to his eyeballs, and so is Hillary. So what's the point of voting if you're a Hillary, if you're a Bernie supporter? There's just no point, These people who are so desperate to have a female president. I mean, that's just sad. There were other females who ran for president. I mean, even Marianne Williamson would be a nicer president than Hillary Clinton. My God. So and when this happens, you definitely want to tune into H.A. Goodman's channel for that celebration, because he will be crowned a king of the prophets of YouTube, I think, at that point, because he has literally been calling this for since 2017, I think, was his first article about it, and he's been calling for it ever since, and makes a lot of sense when you look back on it. I was skeptical. First I said no, and then I said yes, then I said no. I went back and forth. But now I'm kind of on board again. It's definitely percolating around the internet. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's a chance she won't, simply because Biden is such an S show. He may not hold up. I mean, seriously, he may not hold up for the whole election. And it may get so ugly in Milwaukee, she may just say, you know what, I'll let these guys run it, and then maybe I'll go for 2024. But it seems awfully coincidental that they're rebranding Bill Clinton right now. I mean, Bill Clinton's been in a cave, it seems, for so many years, and now suddenly comes back into the news. Hillary Clinton's everywhere, going on every major talk show, talking about this documentary about her, and still talking about politics. I mean, it makes a certain amount of sense. So, and maybe Warren is the backup Hillary. That if Hillary decides, nah, we've done the polls, it's going to be a disaster, you go, Warren, because it's just going to crash and burn. But I'll give you a shot, because I think the Clintons are running the DNC at this point. So they're doing their chess moves behind the scenes, and they're looking at the polls, and they're seeing how it is. Either way, I say Trump wins, unless something major happens to him personally, or, I can't see him making a bad move at this point. He's only got about, 8 months to go. Even if he screwed something up, even if we go into a recession at this point, it's not going to be his fault. It's a coronavirus. I mean, that might slow things down, but who are you going to want to build the economy back up? Uncle Joe? Uncle Joe, and the gaff master, who, how long is he going to, is he just going to waltz into the White House on the first day and say, that's it, I'm done? No, he's going to be president. He'd have to stay president for a couple of months at least get things going. So, I don't expect him to pull a rabbit out of his hat, and I certainly don't think Hillary Clinton's economic plan at this point would be a good one. What's she going to do? She's going to have to reverse all the stuff that Trump did. Is that her plan? Basically, it's going to be a secret economic plan if she's going to eventually be president, because we don't know, because she's not running. So, I don't know. May you live in interesting times. We are certainly in them.